It's clay time! Let's make some whimsical characters. Here are a few examples of different type of things you can do. Remember, you get to be creative and make up your own characters. The final step of this project, we will add beads and string to connect those feet to the body and add some paint. For this project, you will need clay, a coffee stir straw, a toothpick, a cup of water, a damp napkin, and a Ziploc bag. Also, make sure that your workspace can get dirty. Always work with something underneath you when working with clay, like cardboard, poster board, or even an old towel. Make sure to check with your parents first. Let's get started. To get started, we first need to make a pinch pot. Keep watching to see a live demonstration. In your work area, you have your piece of clay. Take off a little bit to make your pinch pot. This is going to be the largest amount of clay we'll work with at a time. So when you're not using the rest of the clay, make sure to wrap it in a damp towel and seal it shut in a Ziploc bag. You don't want it to dry out. Now take your clay and roll it into a ball. Now you're going to take your thumb and push it into your ball. Then, using a pinching motion, starting at the bottom of your clay, you are going to pinch and turn all the way around until it forms a pot. Hence the word pinch pot. It is important that the wall of your pinch pot is not thicker than your thumb or thinner than your pinky. The next step in making a pinch pot is to gently tap your pot on a flat surface. This is going to make it even and flat on the edges. Now you want to carefully use your fingers to smooth out your pot. Get the inside nice and smooth, the rim nice and smooth, as well as the outside. Now we need to use the little coffee stirring straw to make 2 little holes, or more if you want, in our pinch pot. Set it on the counter or your work surface and gently push the straw in and twist as you are pulling it out. Remember, place these where you want the legs to hang down from, so you can have more than 2 if that's the type of character you're making. Don't forget to write your initials on the inside of your pot. It is very important so you get your piece back. Now let's make the feet to our character. Keep watching to see how I did this. Just like we started our pinch pot, I'm going to take the little small piece of clay and roll it into a ball. Then I will flatten it out and make it into a slab. Make sure that it is not too thin and not too thick. Again, use your fingers for reference. We are now going to use the toothpick to draw our feet in the slab. Just carefully and lightly draw it out. Try to make them the same, or if not, you want them to be silly, it's up to you. After you've drawn it, now you're going to cut it out with your toothpick. I'm just going to follow the line I drew and carefully take out a little clay each time and go a little bit deeper every time until I reach the bottom table I'm working on. Once you remove your feet from the rest of the extra clay, pick up those feet and smooth them out to your liking. Now we need to cut out 2 more holes using that coffee stir straw. I'm not going to put it too close to the edge, but just a little bit in. this is how we're going to connect the feet to the body. Push it in and twist. Now I held it up close, but it's a lot easier to do it on the table. Make sure to twist. Now to add the details to our character. Let's start with the head. Take a look. You want to start with a small piece of clay because you don't want the head to be too big. For one, you don't need too big of a head. And number two, if you make it too thick, it will explode in the kiln. Roll it into a nice smooth ball, and now we need to attach it. Place it where you want it to sit on your pinch pot. Make sure you pay attention to where you put the holes for the feet. I'm going to interrupt here for a minute. Remember the 4 S's of clay we talked about before? That is slip and score, squish, and smooth. These are so important when you are attaching your pieces. If you do not follow these rules, your pieces will fall apart. Pay attention and make sure you do them every time you attach something to your pinch pot. So first, because we don't have slip at home, we are going to make our own slip by just using water and then rubbing on our clay piece. This is going to make slip, since slip is just clay and water. So after we do that, then we're going to take our toothpick and we are going to scratch or score our pieces where we're going to attach them. First do the pinch pot, and then make sure you also do the piece you're attaching. Now we get to squish and twist it together. Make sure it's nice and attached. Then I'm going to use my toothpick just because my finger won't fit in there, but I am smoothing the ball to my pinch pot. Now that you have the base of your character, you need to add more details to make it look more like your character. Check out the different techniques I used to attach my details. Here, I am adding a beak to my character. Make sure that you slip, score, and smooth your piece on there. Recall that I mentioned something about the piece possibly exploding in the kiln if the head was too thick? Well, to solve this problem, I'm going to take that same coffee stir straw and poke holes all the way through the nose into the head. This is going to allow the water in there to evaporate so it does not cause my piece to explode in the kiln. And I think it kind of adds to it. Now it's kind of looking like a duck to me. Now, if you don't want to add holes into the nose or the beak, whatever you have like I did, instead try this technique. Make little tiny balls to turn them into eyes. Remember to slip and score them onto your piece. And then I will take a toothpick and stick it through the eye all the way into the head. This too will allow that water to evaporate. If you want to add hair to your character, try using coils. Just take a little bit of clay and roll it out into a snake. That is how you're going to get started with your coils. When you're attaching these coils, make sure you leave enough of the coil to actually attach to the clay piece. It can't just be the very bottom of your coil. Also remember to slip and score anything you attach to your piece. Here I'm going to make a duck tail to attach to my character. Remember when attaching something to slip and score. Here, I'm going to use the slab technique again to make wings for my duck. Look, here I am using the slip and score technique again. Every single time, guys. Very important for you not to lose pieces off of your artwork. You can also use your toothpick to draw designs onto your piece. Just remember that what your piece looks like now is what it'll look like once it's fired, except it'll be hard. So don't leave two jagged pieces. You don't want to cut yourself. Here are two important things to check for before you call your piece done. The first thing is to check to make sure that those leg holes are still there and still the same size as your coffee straw. If it's not, we won't be able to get the string through. The second thing is to make sure that your initials are still showing. You may have squashed it down in the process of making your piece. That's okay, just take the toothpick and trace over it again. That is it for this video. Now you turn in your piece and I will fire it for you in the kiln. Remember, that is the big oven that'll turn this into ceramics. I truly do love working with clay, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. And I will see you in the next video to finish this project. See you later.